Forget it.
The FlameCast!
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the FlameCast. I'm here with my buddy Windybeard. How's it going, man?
Hello. Yeah, not too bad, mate. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. I am your co-host, TOBOR Prime, and we're going to be talking about indie games, their own projects, and all the nonsense that's going on in the world around us concerning video games, or loosely concerning video games. Maybe. Who knows? We'll see where the road takes us today.
We will walk the road.
Yeah. Real quick, we were going to... I got to apologize for our absence last week. That was my fault. I had some family stuff to do, but we're back on Tuesdays now, so who knows how long that'll last. But for now...
That's all right. Miss a week.
Yeah. And another goof that we had last week was we were going to talk about Konami's E3 presentation. We never did, and it just occurred to me just now. So we can include it as DLC for you guys.
Yeah, let's do it. Bonus content.
Yeah. So did you know what their big announcement was?
Tell me.
Okay.
Tell
so
me.
this is still brand new, fresh for you.
Yeah, I still don't know much about E3. I so little care.
I don't think anyone watching this is going to care right now either.
Who gives a shit? Go on, Konami. Go on. I want to know.
So,
they're always funny.
Yeah. So Konami's big to do. I think it was like the last day of press stuff, and I was watching the most of the stuff I was watching via the Twitch main channel, and Konami had a slot on there that was like Konami has an announcement. They're going to come on and they're going to talk about like the secret thing that they've got going on, and it's gonna, Konami. What could it be? Could it be a new Castlevania? Could it be something about the new Contra game? Could it be that they're relaunching an old favorite, an IP or a new IP? Who knows? Maybe Konami's getting back on the game. Yeah. So here's the big, awesome, cool Konami news. Get this, right? Ready? TurboGrafx 16 Mini.
Oh, God. Just what everyone always wanted. Isn't it? Just what everyone wanted. Oh, my days.
They've become the parody now at this point. So many other things, I think.
Who's running that place? Like, Christ, how can you fall from so high? Do you know what I mean? Become such a joke. Like, how does that even happen?
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing too: is like, I guess the PC Engine in Japan was the NEC was the people that made the PC Engine and TurboGrafx. Konami had stuff out on their platforms, but it's so like weird and random. Like, and I guess a while ago Konami had bought up a lot of NEC's properties and TurboGrafx 16 stuff, I guess. And this is the result is that now they're, it's like, what's next? The fucking, Tiger handheld electronic mini classic.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they fucked up, haven't they? You watch. It's like exactly right. What's going on right now is what happened with Stardew Valley. It's happening again right now with Bloodstained. Is it Bloodstained?
What happened with Stardew Valley?
Well, the company who make Harvest Moon just shat on their IP and left it there with all that fucking gold just sat there in a big plate waiting to be eaten. And then someone comes in, just does exactly what it is that they do. And not even better or worse, whatever. They just did it in a modern capacity and just took it away from them.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's exactly what Bloodstained has done. I haven't played it yet. I probably will play it at some point. It does look good.
It looks better than I originally thought it was going to look. There's things about it that I'm like, I don't like the.
It looks a bit awkward if you ask me, but
yeah. Visually speaking, it's kind of lackluster a little bit, but it looks better than it did, and they made a big to do about updating the visuals. And I think the pass that they made was it was like good on them for listening to people and taking the criticism and actually doing something about it. So I applaud them for that. But it does look cool. Like there's apparently a lot of depth to it.
You're always going to win with that setting, aren't you? The castle, the monsters and vampires and whatever else. I don't know.
Gothic,
it's a cool setting.
Horror action is
So they've essentially just completely ripped off Castlevania, and in that entire amount of time that they've been developing their game, Konami have just let them get on with it. You know what I mean? They care so little about Castlevania that they've just let someone just pull the rug from under their feet in regards to that IP.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like barely any innovation or anything, and it's just like, how about, it'd be like me. It's like, I really want a new Ninja Turtles game. Nobody's doing it or making a good one. If I just made, Ninja
Terrapins. Yeah.
Adult.
That's exactly what we're talking about here, but it's like the amount of time it takes to make these games and all that money and all that PR and all that.
Yeah, and Bloodstained went on for over 4 years or so.
Yeah, and Konami must be aware of this. For that, the whole time that this was going on, they would have been aware.
Yeah. Well, their whole Bloodstained's whole marketing campaign was riddled with Castlevania memes and stuff.
Get away with it. Good for them though, but it just shows how little these Konami cares about such a big IP. To just allow that to happen.
Where Castlevania ended up is largely responsible, or Koji Igarashi is hugely responsible for that with Symphony of the Night. So,
it was a glorious game, yeah, absolutely glorious. I played the Xbox 360 one or whatever it was called when it came back. Some 3D bullshit. Did you ever play that? The newer ones.
They did like Lords of Shadow. Are you talking
whatever
about?
It was called? I remember getting all excited buying it and I hadn't read anything or watched anything about it, and I think I played it for about half an hour and that was it. Never played it again. It was that rubbish.
The War of Vania ones, right? Or the God of Vanias. It's basically a God of War, but set in the Castlevania.
Garbage.
There were things about it I liked, but it was like, if you don't have the fucking music, I don't care, and it's not Castlevania.
Yeah. I liked the N64 Castlevania. I really liked it as much as it
there's a hot take.
Yeah, I enjoyed both of them.
You know what? I'm in agreement with you. I like the Castlevania 64 one.
They have that serious atmosphere to them. That was one thing I remember about it.
Yeah,
very
I felt
atmospheric.
dread playing that game.
Yeah, they were horrible. And when there was one bit I still remember. I get sleepless nights when you're in the maze. And you're being chased by the dude with a chainsaw, is it?
Yeah.
Or am I mixing that up with something else?
He's like a big Frankenstein's monster-looking guy who just kind of
struggling with the controls.
After you.
Great games. They're expensive now. Whoa.
Yeah, that one I get the itch to play pretty bad every once in a while. And I mean, I guess it's a good thing that I'm ignoring it for now because it is, like you said, it's expensive.
That's the problem with the N64. Like I would say it's my favourite console of all time, right? That was when I was proper deep into video games, really into them. It was the N64, and I owned almost every single game released in the West, including quite a few released in Japan only and stuff like that. And I would love nothing more than to be able to play them again, but it's just never going to happen because they never get re-released, or there's never going to be an N64 Mini, and even if there was, it'd just be the games you expect to be on there, not all the strange little games.
Well, you'd have to go completely retro then.
You'd have to buy them, and even God sod that. The console is so expensive. The game.
Yeah, I remember when you used to be able to pick that stuff up for like $1, or anywhere from $1 to $5 for us over here. But since retro gaming kind of took off, all that stuff skyrocketed in price.
Great console though. Such a mess though visually, isn't it?
Oh, it's ugly as sin.
But you gotta love it. There's something about it.
Yeah, Mario 64 was amazing. That was my first E3 that I went to, was the unveiling of the 64, and then
what an E3,
a stage presentation of Mario 64 that was just talk about revolutionizing a genre and a play style and all that stuff. It was like,
I think interestingly, I played Mario 64. God, when did I last play it? I think I had it on the Wii U. I think I bought it because Nintendo used to bother putting their games on there. And it wasn't fun. It's not. It hasn't held up well. Like, I played Banjo-Kazooie not that long ago, and that held up far, far better. Because Mario's controls and the camera is so bad. but it did pave the way.
I still love it. I still think it's great.
I like parts of it. I hate the haunted house.
Granted, I haven't played it in it's not actually been too long. Mario 64 and like a whole host of other 64 games, Castlevania 64 as well. I had those, and then our apartment burned down, and I lost them all. So some of them, like Conker's Bad Fur Day, complete in box, and like all this stuff.
Oh Christ, that's an expensive one.
Yeah.
That's probably
a lot of
Super
Nintendo games too that are now like $500. You know?
Ah damn.
I'm so mad.
Yeah. Oh, I had some games. Oh, the good old days, eh? If I had all the monies, I would probably go for my N64 again. I'd probably get the N64 going. I would.
That's one of my plans. Is if if Savage does gangbusters, I'm gonna buy me a whole bunch of crusty old fucking video games and a nice
fucking buy them all.
Yeah, a nice CRT TV to play them on, and
yes.
get those radio waves into my brain.
Yeah, nice, man, nice.
Yeah.
Well, everyone buy Savage Shards of Ghosts and make this man's dreams come true.
Please, it's all I have.
Yeah, man. Well, I would say, did you ever play Mystical Ninja?
Oh, I love Goemon. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about N64 stuff.
Welcome to the Nintendo 64 podcast, coming at you live on the internet. Yeah, old games.
Oh, God.
Classically trained.
Fell into the void. All right. Anyway, so what you've been doing, Tobor? Tell us all. Everyone.
Playing some Nintendo 64. No, I've been working on Savage the Shard of Gosen. Of Gosens.
Yeah. Gosenian Shards.
I've been doing a lot, actually, a whole bunch. There's most recently this very morning, not moments ago, I had been trying to clean up some of my debug stuff, which is sorely needed.
What time is it?
4 a.m., 4:30 a.m.
What's wrong with you?
Well, how long do we have?
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I woke up last night at like 10 p.m. or something, so I've been, this is sort of the middle of the day for me right now. But
healthy, yeah.
Hashtag
healthy.
Yeah.
Living that game dev dream. Go on. Sorry. Apologies.
No, you're good.
Apologies. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the more complicated the game gets, I have never been good at maintaining a decent method of debugging things. So I've been doing that, and it's been helping a lot and helping me work faster because I can pull up menus and stuff and be like, okay, what's happening right now? What story elements are triggered? What spawning in items that I need and stuff, like putting in a good grid of like every single item and weapon and armor in the game and stuff, and being able to spawn that in to see if it works, et cetera. Like, so I've been doing that. I've been reorganizing a whole bunch of stuff and making things like that a little easier on me. Tons of monsters and enemies too. Well, tons. That there's a handful of them that I've
Fishman.
Yeah, he's just about. I think I've accidentally wound up with another boss through him.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's always good.
He's got a really complicated moveset, but what's nice about him is I made him really big and chunky. So what I could probably do is have a boss version of him and then sort of rework some elements of him and make him kind of dumber and have a basic fish dude. And I'm trying to juice everything I got. How many different ways can I use this one thing?
Yeah. Good.
And a whole bunch of other smaller beasties and creatures and stuff that have just been kind of pouring out of my brain right onto the computer screen, which feels pretty good. There's not a whole lot of resistance for me right now as far as what's from concept to actuality.
Yeah. Well, while you're on that train, innit? Keep going.
Yeah. The perk system is finally getting added to the game. So when you master like a sword or a shield or whatever, you unlock a permanent perk. So I've been
very nice.
Experimenting with the UI for that because that was never done. It was like, how do I want to display this information to the player? Do I want the player to actually see when they get a new item? Do I want them to be able to click on info and see, when you hit when you hit level 3 and master this is the perk you'll unlock.
Yeah, that's always the trick, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's something that had never occurred to me either. And it was like, well, duh, it gives the player more choice as how to build their character and stuff, I think. So like if you wanted to do like a more thiefy kind of barbarian, like you'd want to look at daggers and leather armor and stuff and see what that gives you. It's like, oh, this gives me a bonus to dodging, and this gives me it makes me more quick or whatever. Or a bonus to backstabs, so you can actually build out characters like that, and I wanted to communicate that information to the player a little bit. But that being said, too, the leveling system is getting a little bit of a rework as far as like your character sheet and what that shows, and I'm just kind of locking down stuff is basically what all this is. I'm locking down things that I think make a better product and and it's just stuff I care about. It's ultimately things that I want to see in a game like this. The dialogue system is getting a little bit of love too. I'm adding the ability for me to put in more dialogue options. It's always been just 2. Like you could only do 1 or 2, and I ran into some problems with especially certain vendors, like the tavern keepers, or like, do you want a drink or do you want to spend the night? It's like, but there wasn't a third option to like back out. So certain things like that I need to fix, and make the dialogue draw system to be a little bit more dynamic, because I've run into issues with space.
Okay.
So what I did was I segmented some dialogue backgrounds up into parts so that I could, tile it based on the size of the actual text string.
9 slicing.
Yes, precisely. Which is like, duh, why didn't I do that a long time ago? Well, I didn't know.
Yeah. Wow. You do now.
Yeah, so that's what's going on. And then things that are looming are I've been experimenting with adding some new armor pieces like trinket slots and stuff, just to add more. Like I'm just looking at what more things I can add to that makes sense, that already works within the systems that are already in place.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that stuff feeds into the early access thing too, where it's like, well, Savage has some living elements to it, where I could be adding new stuff all the time, new armor sets, new storylines, new mini quests and things, and
sounds good. Sounds productive.
Yeah, it's been explosive.
Explosive productivity.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, man. Nice. Oh,
How
awesome.
about you? What's going on?
Well, TOBOR, a lot of things going on. A lot of things and nothing all at once. It's I'm
complicated.
with GO2, so I've been working tirelessly on GO2. And before we get into that, TOBOR, I just want to first of all apologize for my ridiculously long hair. Right? I know it's out of control. I've yet to whip out the
Careful,
babyliss.
you put somebody's eye out with that.
Anyway, so I've been working tirelessly on GO2, but I've been there's a real core use the pun, core mechanic in GO, which is this building a headquarters, buying rooms, building the rooms into your headquarters in slots. So as it goes up, you can stick rooms in.
Yeah.
And then hiring crew members, putting crew members to work in the rooms, and then all the stats being added, and you can take them all out, remove them, change them about. So that's essentially what I've been working on for nearly 2 weeks, solid. And I'm 95% of the way there. So once that
good.
job's done, that's one of like everything else to do with that system is just visuals. It's just visuals. So I have to draw 100 rooms or whatever. Luckily, I don't have to draw the crew members. My good friend Pete Cooper of Gamers for Good, he's doing that. He is a phenomenal, world-class artist. I can't wait to see him. There's a couple of him in my Discord. It's mind-blowingly good. So I'm doing that.
Yeah, I've got to say those look slick. Yeah, and your work is looking better and better all the time.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I'm no character artist. Not like he is. That's a different league. And I'm quite.
Well, you guys have different styles. I think where you sit, your stuff is just as good. Personally.
Well, thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say.
Well, it's got its own character. Like, I mean, literally and figuratively.
Oh well,
for your characters,
nice.
Like your style is very. You can tell when it's a Windybeard in a good way too. It's not like, oh, there's that shit again.
Cheap casual crap. I got called yesterday, which is nice.
You did? So really?
In a positive review. So
on Steam?
Yeah, it's always
Oh my
funny. It always
God.
makes me laugh, isn't it?
What game
It's always make me laugh.
in particular?
I think it was Geo1. I think it was just one of those, like sort of, where someone gives you a compliment whilst at the same time giving you a slap round the face. You know what I mean? It's like so funny. I thought this game was going to be cheap, casual crap.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I'll take it.
I think
But
that's
anyway,
what we're fighting almost 100% is perception.
Mm.
Well, I think the same thing with Savage. I think people think it's a platformer with swords.
You're always going to fight that. I think you're always going to fight it. I think unless you've got $1 million and 10 people, you're always going to fight specific, thought processes. I think all my stuff's always going to look like cheap, casual crap to someone. But it's all good. So that's what I've been doing. But it gets really, really, really twisted when you get into doing something like that. Because I've done it before, but this time I'm doing it. It's more complicated the way I'm doing it now. It's going to be far more robust, and I should be able to do more things with it. So I've kept the core mechanics of putting rooms and crews, blah, blah, blah. But there's more stats this time. So there's more resistances to elements. So you've got fire, ice, acid.
I love that. I love that stuff.
Radiation and dark energy. So you've got these 5. Ooh. So all these stats are adding up. Plus you've got your power of your drill, your health of your drill, and a new stat that I'm putting in, critical strike. So I'm going to play with that. So that should be a good one. And then on top of that, there's EXP modifiers for each room. So if you put crew members in a room that's got 110% EXP, then they'll get more XP for being in that room. They level up quicker, and then you unlock more stats. And so, so that's what I've been doing. But there's so many little issues that I don't think, like little fringe issues, like if you put a crew member in this room and then try and remove them, but at the same time you haven't moved your cursor so you can put another crew member straight in on top of another one, and all these weird little problems that you got to solve, when you're dropping things in slots, you've got to take stuff out in it. So that's that. And I've also started designing the tiles for the drilling, because my next big job is I want to start getting the basics of that in, because I've got the core mechanic of the headquarters, I've got the start of the world map or the universe, and then if I can get the drilling, then I should be able to get a full gameplay loop running. And then if I can get a full gameplay loop running, then I just start fucking putting it on the top, all those systems, just cramming them in until it's plump. Yeah. You know what I mean? Until it's fit to burst. That's the plan. Plumping the goose, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you do as a game developer. You got your malnourished thin goose, right, with its feathers all falling off.
So
and
limp.
And that's the skeletal frame, the core of your video game, right there. This frail, malnourished goose. And then once you've built its skeletal structure and its little withered beak, and you just start plumping it until you've got this big, fat, thick goose that's ripe and ready for the
loud.
oven. Yeah, exactly. And that's GO2. At the moment, it's a frail, malnourished goose.
You put that on the back of the box.
Yeah, well, that's it. So, hey, take from that what you will.
PC gamer.
Yeah. And I've been running around another game idea in my head. I don't even know if I've spoken about this on the FlameCast.
Ooh,
I probably
careful.
touched on. Yeah, well, that's it.
Careful now.
I don't want people jumping in and stealing all my ideas, but I've got something in the works in the old mind. Cogs turning just here and just here as well, as you can see. That's why my hair's falling out. Cogs turning.
Oh, there's where your cogs are. I understand.
Yeah, that's where they are. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing something with the Scud universe. So my Scud Frenzy game, if anyone played it, it's like a high score attack game set in a game showy alien world thing.
Yeah.
But I've got some more I want to do with that. I want to kind of do a looter shooter grinder thingy.
Inspired by Bangai-O.
Yeah, Bangai-O and Lapis X Labyrinth.
Yeah.
It's going to be sensual.
I'm looking forward to that too. I mean, that's a ways. It'll be like Starfield. It's a ways off.
It's going to be a way off. But once I actually dive into it, I don't think it's going to take me that long, because famous last words. I intend to completely reuse Scud and what I did for Scud. So the engine, the art, the music, everything. I'm gonna go all in and see, because I've never done that before. I've never gone for a complete reuse. So I want to see how that fares
Greedy
up.
dev.
Greedy, lazy dev, ladies and gentlemen. Just out there to scam. No,
GLD.
Yeah, scamming with my cheap, casual crap.
Yeah.
It's not really, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. Link in the description there.
Yeah. Go pick up some Windybeard games and leave some reviews that aren't that don't use cheap casual crap or whatever. What
First
would you
line,
say
innit?
it was? Cheap?
Cheap casual crap.
Yeah, okay, yeah. or do, put that in there. I don't know.
How many times can we say that about my games in one FlameCast? Right.
I mean, if people bought Savage and left a positive review, a thumbs up or whatever, a recommended, and then put that in there, I'd be fine. Like, I got you.
I'll take it. Do you know what I mean? I'll take it. But I know it's like if you're hungry and on the street and someone walks past you and throws at you as hard as they can £100 in pound coins. You're going to be thankful for the coin. Yeah. But you're also going to be like, did you really need to throw it that hard at me?
But it'll leave a bruise.
Well within your rights to question that.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're going to leave money for the needy, do it nice and gently. That's all I have to say.
We are the needy. Give us money.
Yeah, please.
We are the goose.
We are the malnourished geese of the game dev. Right. Anyway, so that's Geo. That's Savage, Shards of Ghosten.
In a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. In a nutshell. Or in a goose, I guess.
Yes.
Have you been playing anything at all?
I have, actually. I've been playing Disgaea 5.
Okay. On Switch?
On Switch.
Okay. Dungeon crawling.
Oh, I can't get enough of those tasty stats. I can't get enough of it. I cannot. I'm fully erect through all the numbers.
Oh my god! I can see it. I've had to post stream. I'll have to edit that out, so you guys won't see it, but it's there, right in my face. It's kind of distracting, I gotta say.
But yeah, it's a great game. I skip all the cutscenes and all the conversations because I hate it. I can't watch it. I tried.
I imagine in those games too, it's pretty insufferable. Like,
oh, it is awful. It is beyond awful. I caught one cutscene because I was doing something and it auto plays. They were talking about. I was on like the 5th world or something, and they're talking about trying to kill a boss who's gone out off the rails because he hasn't got enough curry. And then all the characters are just all running around. Oh, it's horrible.
Well, it's like a Future Millennium, kind of.
I don't know what it is. It's a mess. But the game itself is beyond glorious. Beyond glorious. It's probably one of the best systems I've ever seen in a game of its kind.
I keep hearing that about them, but the presentation always puts me off with those games.
Well, this is what I've said, and I say this to a few people when they go, "Oh, you play this stuff?" And I'm like, well, the problem is for me, right? I love colourful games, and I really like the way the Japanese companies make games, right?
Same. Let me just say too, like I grew up being a fucking weeb, like total.
Right.
Like I loved Dragon Ball. I loved a ton of other stuff. And that was like what a trip to Blockbuster always resulted in, was me with like Tank Police and Appleseed.
Blockbuster.
Yeah. Still got my membership card. No, I don't, because that was fucking eaten in the Great Fire of 2013 as well. But I just want to say that, like, as far as design and game feel too, like they more often than not, there's quite a few Japanese companies that just nail it.
Yeah, they work. The games are different. Not all of them, obviously. Not all of them nowadays. There's a big crossover.
Yeah, but like a third-person action game in Japan is not quite the same as a third-person action game in the West.
No, because you could pretty much define, like, the Japanese third-person action game would be usually super fast. There'd be loads of special effects. There'd probably be a lot more jazzy and flashy and lots of numbers and stuff. And in the West,
or very deliberate movements like Dark Souls, where it's like you have to know what you're doing and you have to kind of lead everything and understand what's going on. And and then in the West, you got like God of War or something where you just button mash.
And a lot more story driven and a lot more sort of characters, emotions and stuff. I don't know. Yeah. But I like that's the thing. So I have to sort of, and I like the colourful art of these games, right? So I like anime games in the fact that I like that they're colourful and they're in weird, ridiculous places and all this stuff. But it's the characters I hate. I really don't like the characters. They're so annoying. I think maybe when I was younger, I'd probably be able to stomach it. But it's like a 35-year-old man listening to this stuff, and I'm like, oh god, just shut up and let me play the game.
Yeah. If I could,
it's still great.
I think myself personally, like working on games, I think I'm trying to marry the two, like the stuff that I like about the West and stuff I like about the East and Japanese.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Like I want give me the mechanics and the feel of weeb trash but give me and put a fucking Dark Knight or something like some kind of badass in it to kind of
well, that's cool. That's a good thing to do though, isn't it? That's a great thing to do because
and it's all preference, of course.
Yeah. Because there's nothing wrong with any of these games. I just think, but then I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? Like, if you're going to make one of these games like Disgaea, if you was to take it out of that sort of anime universe and put it into something else, I don't even know if it would.
It's like it's so cookie cutter anymore. It looks very assembly line to me.
Yeah.
So a lot of the
gameplay is
stuff
glorious.
Anymore.
Yeah, the depth of things, it's just unbelievable. Every single item you get in the game is a dungeon. That's how crazy it is.
Oh.
Every item, you can then go into the item and level up the item by completing a dungeon inside the weapon.
Oh,
and
man.
But it goes deeper and deeper and deeper than that. And you can even, there even has cheat mechanics built in. So you've got sliders, so you can slide up how much XP you get, but it affects how much cash you get. Okay. And you can change all the parameters like that. It's just crazy.
You can adjust the risk versus reward
of everything. So they've basically they've just given you all the tools.
That sounds fucking awesome.
It is fucking awesome. It is. It really is. You could put, and all the characters got to like level 99,999 and stuff like that. It's that ridiculous. And then you can rebirth them and start again with, like a prestige. It's just crazy. It is crazy. Every attack you use levels up. Everything. Absolutely everything.
I've got the grind symbols in my eyes right now. I'm like,
but if you're going to buy one, you might as well just buy the 5th one because they're all exactly the same, just a progression of getting better mechanics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like
I've played
NHL 2K19.
Yeah, I think I played the first one, which I enjoyed. I played the second one, which I loved, and then I hadn't played any until I played the 5th one because I saw them coming out and they're exactly the same game.
Now it is a dungeon crawler, right? Am I?
It's a strategy RPG.
Or it's like a tactics.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, yeah. It looks like Final Fantasy Tactics or one of those.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's really good.
And I do love that style of gameplay.
I'd recommend it. If you're looking for something to grind on, it's to play it for 1,000,000 hours if you wanted to. It's there.
Yeah, I just look at the character designs and I'm like, but what you have just told me, like,
well, that's it. I skip it all. I skip all of that.
Like I would not be upset to dive into something that was that had that depth to it and that
highly recommended. And that's all I've been playing really. I haven't played that much of it. I think I've probably played 8 hours in 2 weeks. A couple of little sessions here and there. But that's all really. I've not played any much. What about yourself? You've been playing anything? What have you been playing?
Daggerfall a little bit.
All right.
I love Daggerfall so much to bits and pieces. One of the most interesting games I think that's ever been made is Daggerfall.
Yeah,
but just a little bit. Like I've been kind of taking little bits and pieces off of certain things. Like I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey for like a one day. I just kind of binged on it like really hard. It just that game goes on for fucking ever and ever and ever, and I don't know how satisfying it is. It's kind of weird. That game is weird to me. Like I'm sort of split on it, but I always feel every once in a while I get the itch to.
I think that being split on it is exactly what they're trying to do. Like this is the thing with these massive open world games, isn't it? Like there's that fine line between tedium and progression, and they dance on that line. Yeah, well that's it. If you wrap this glorious work, because it's an amazing looking game, right? I've always wanted to play it because of the way it looks.
It's gorgeous, and it does have a loot grind element to it, and it's got and you can get some really badass looking stuff to make to make you look like a cool looking old world warrior type.
Yeah. But there's a thing about being a gamer, isn't there? When you see this world map and you can see all the little things that you've uncovered here, but you've not touched anything down here, and you're going to have to go down there. And if you don't, you're going to feel like you've just missed so much, and you've not done it properly. And I'm rubbish at this game. So then you're always dancing on that line between like needing to do it because you know it's there, but then in game there's actually no real reason to do it other than to placate that lust, if you will,
to check off the the list, the item on the list.
But I don't have a problem with that. I kind of like that in games. I've never had an issue with busy work in games. I think it's what a game actually is. Almost
it depends
entirely
on how it feels to me.
Exactly. If it's
and
fun,
there are
get
things
on
in
with it.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey that don't feel good. Like mainly the combat doesn't feel that great.
Really,
it's so frustrating because it's like a smidge, an eyelash away from feeling pretty damn satisfying. But it's like not. It comes and goes. Like depending on what weapon you're using and like what sort of attacks your enemy is doing. Like some attacks look kind of stupid and awkward on both like the player and the an enemy that you could be fighting or whatever. And when you hit them, sometimes it really doesn't feel that good. Like it's almost like your guy is standing there fighting vapor or like a tree or something. Where it's like I'm not getting very good feedback from this.
Is it still the same sort of Batman sort of press buttons at certain times fight system?
No, this is more of a pure like you're in control of everything kind of action.
Okay,
like you're not really locked into anything. You're you can like target guys. Like it's more like Dark Souls or something where
you've
got like
everything's like Dark Souls, isn't it now? Everything has to be like Dark Souls.
That's the thing too. Like there were plenty of things that weren't Dark Souls before Dark Souls that were like Dark Souls, like something that's just like you have an attack button and you can move around and then
the Dark Souls of video games.
Yeah, but I do think that the AC the Dark Souls of everything. I do think that Assassin's Creed Odyssey is kind of that's what Ubisoft does, right? Like they look at something that's popular and they adopt it,
Oh yeah.
It's like a Witcher 3 / Dark Souls kind of thing.
Okay.
They're like, we're going to take...
I was always gutted I never played Black Flag. That was one I always wanted to play.
That is a beautiful game.
It looks it. I've watched a few streamers. I got a couple of gameplay streamers I watch when I do go on.
This is by the same team.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
and that was impressive.
And you do have a ship in Odyssey.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
you've got a Grecian ship, and you do like instead of firing cannons, you've got like archers. That
it's impressive what they. This is the thing, they get shat on so much.
It is
bloody
incredible.
Impressive what they manage.
Yeah, and you can anywhere you are on the world map on your ship, you can just jump off into the water and swim. Forever. You know, like you can go down as far and deep as you want to, and everything. There's stuff in there. There's just stuff everywhere.
It's amazing. It's amazing, really, because
gorgeous at the same time.
It does. Like I always feel a bit sorry for them, and I've always said this when all these arguments come up about these big companies and AAAs and stuff. Like EA, they're nasty piece of work, right?
We'll get to them too on this exciting episode of the FlameCast.
We will get to them. We will get to them and their recent behaviour, right? Yeah. But Ubisoft, I don't think they're in the same. I don't think they're the same. I don't think they're in there with the, with the shit that's going on. For the most part, yeah, they do some shitty stuff, but their games are far better than what I think they get credit for in the media.
I think so too. It's an undertaking when you look at these games. It's like I can't believe they put all this stuff in here. I can't believe the way that the parkour works, the climbing, and all
exactly.
that.
Everything, yeah. And even when they do, they do make the big open world busy work games because they are a global AAA and they have to make generic, vast, sweeping audience games. You know what I mean? They have to capture the biggest audience possible to stay alive now. They don't have a choice. You know what I mean? They can't make little niche fringe titles because they're too big.
They can't explore a thing that they really like or something. One guy on the team's like, I really want to dive into this. What if your helmet had a world inside of it? Some weird thing.
But the things they do well, in my opinion. They do it
well, and they're pretty consistent. I mean, unless not counting some of their launches of like broken games and stuff. Like I remember Assassin's Creed. What was it? Oh yeah,
Unity. I know the one. Yeah, but wasn't that was a cross between generations, wasn't it? Like tech generations.
I think it might have been. Yeah, I think it was but between 360 and Xbox One ish.
It was an Xbox One launch title, wasn't it? If I remember right.
And I think that also came out on the previous generation too, where there was a weird period where it was like it'll come out on the old stuff and it'll come out on the new stuff, and people were like, "Why did I buy the new machine again?"
So I can imagine that always causes problems. If you look at games from the start of a generation to the end, the difference is night and day, generally. Just because people have got
Unity was fucking broke ass. Like, it was hilarious how functional that game was at launch.
But I think this is I think all these companies deserve they deserve a mulligan, if you will. Like everyone can put out a shit game. No matter how hard they try, a shit game can happen. Like this is why sometimes I feel a bit. This is probably a bad thing to say. But sometimes I feel sorry for Bethesda in this regards with Fallout 76. Right.
All right, I'll see you guys later. This is on you.
But it might be a shit game, right? It is a shit game, and with all the shit, some people really liked it, right? There's still people playing it, right? But if you've got 50 games put out, one of those games has to be the worst one. Like, it has to be.
Well, you talking about 76?
Yeah, I'm talking about 76. Like, if you look at their past history, the shit they make is pretty good, right? You know, Skyrim's done all right. You know, Fallout's done all right. All these things they do.
Which is why I wish we would look at a lot of this stuff game to game instead of. I mean, sure, you can look at what the company is doing, and obviously there are patterns and things, but is the game good? Is it not good? Let's move on.
Yeah, because every company will put out a shit game at some point, and they get so much stick for it now. It's unbelievable, unbelievable. You know?
Yeah. Well, sometimes that does come in a wrapper of the marketing telling you that you are some horrible thing. If you criticize us, and it completely ignores the product for money exchange.
Yeah,
instead.
But I suppose you're backed into a corner, though, aren't you? A company of that size, because you can't turn around and say, "We're releasing this game, guys, but it's a bit shit." Sorry about that. They can't. They can't say that, can they? Like, they're going to say, "Oh, this is the best game."
A lot of these AAA devs it's starting to sound more and more like politicians, where it's like they can't come out right out and say something or apologize for something. They have to beat around the bush, and it's very frustrating to listen to and to watch. And nothing can just be like, "Hey, this sucked. We're sorry it sucked. We'll try to do a better job."
We didn't make it suck just to steal your money. That's what they need to say. Look, we made a game. We tried our best. We tried something new. Yeah, we probably should have put some more money into it. We didn't.
And you can come out. You can even come out and say like, "Hey, we had a deadline, and
things went sideways.
Our company was going to sink unless we got some money."
I think these companies, like, I know they're making numbers hand over fist, right? Like,
but they're also losing
people like
it
you
too.
And me. Sorry,
but they're also losing it too. You know.
Well, this is it. This is it with these companies. It's a fine line. You know, one or two bad games, gone.
Yep.
You know, 10,000 people unemployed, a massive hole in the industry, all these problems, right?
Yeah, some project that took 2 to 3 years, and your expenses are millions of dollars. Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad because I don't think there's a single game company out there that hasn't put out a dud. And if they haven't yet, they will at some point. You know?
Can't wait for my dud. That will mean that Savage is done.
No. It won't be Savage. It won't be Savage. It'll be the next one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, regardless of what game it is, like, that will indicate that I finished the damn...
This is slightly out of... We got our list of things to talk about here, but I'm going to jump straight onto point number 3 in this regard, is with the game streaming services, because I think this plays into it.
Okay.
Into what we were just talking about.
Go for it.
I think if anyone out there who's making video games, they need to get them out now.
TOBOR and Windybeard rant about gaming and other things. Turns out that it's not safe for work, but this is something you'll enjoy. Yeah.
Now, when you say game streaming services, you're talking about like Stadia and Xbox Game Pass and
yes,
like subscription Netflix-y kind of stuff.
Yeah, okay. Because I don't think it's all doom and gloom, right? I don't want to spin that yarn, and even what I'm talking could be complete bollocks, right? But this is just my prediction, right? I've been around a little while, and I keep my eye on things, and I like to formulate opinions, right? Free range opinions, right? I think the concerning problem is what it's going to do to the market, because it's going to completely disrupt it, right? Which is fine. This happens all the time. And I read an interesting piece from Microsoft talking about how they're taking up a lot of indies into their systems and their Xbox, whatever it's called, and all these things. And it's going to end up where if you get into a streaming service now, then you're going to do all right. You're going to do all right initially because there's not much on there, right? But when every single game on Earth is available to every single person for £3 a month, and if they play your game, you get 8 cents or something like this.
Yeah,
it's gonna wipe out a vast majority of small devs and even middle-sized companies, because it's going to shift how people play games entirely. You know, I think people will play more games. They'll probably play a vaster array of games, right? Because they can. Because there's not a £60 cost or a £20 cost to try it out. But I think the attention spans will diminish to nothing. You'll be lucky to keep someone playing your game for a couple of hours, even if they really enjoyed it. Mm. And if you're being paid by the hour or per advert, I think it's gonna whittle down what people earn to a fucking paste. Mm. That's what I think. I think it's going to be terrifying. I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think I am. What do you think, Monsieur TOBOR?
Well, let's just kind of skip the line, you and I, and drink some hemlock and be done.
I'm not saying we should be done.
I'm just kidding. You know. But what so yeah, go ahead.
It's not going to replace Steam, obviously.
Yeah,
it's not going to replace these things. They'll still exist unless Valve
it's not going to replace
to go.
People buying a product from you directly.
No, but I think it will make things harder. I don't know. I just have this feeling. I suppose I do usually go, right, what are the two options here? Oh, it's going to be all sunshine and roses, game dev. We're all a big community family. Ah! And then the other side of me
tune into GameDev.world.
Yeah, the other side of me, where all your dreams come true.
Yeah.
Well, this other side of me, which is where I usually go, which thinks this is going to be shit. And if you're always disappointed, then when something good happens, it's a good thing. But that's by the by. But I think it's, especially for someone like me, I'm worried. I'm worried because I won't be able to get on these streaming services. You know what I mean? Mm. No matter how hard I try. And that's the concerning thing. Until they open it up, and by the time they open it up, it won't be worth getting on. You know?
Yeah. I have a couple points to that. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to affect normal retail transactions. I think people, the zeitgeist is so confusing to me right now. Like, I don't know. There's so many people pushing one way and pushing another. Games or no games, you know, with everything. I do think that people are tired of signing up for services, having their privacy violated, having no control over the thing that they want to own.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is something that is pretty disconcerting, is having no control over everything, you know?
Yep.
But at the same time, it makes it very easy, like you said, to try a game out. To, you know, and it's like I have Game Pass right now because they put it. They had a deal for like just $1. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
for a month, you know, like $1. Yeah, that's okay. I can find that in the couch. You know, and I got all these games that I can try out, and you know, if I wanted to sit down and like beat, you know, a couple of them, play them to completion. But then there's another thing too, where it's it depends on how these services are, you know, what your contract is like with these guys. Some of them, they just pay you a huge amount of money.
Well, this is another
to put
point.
Your game on there.
It almost feels like the industry's gone a complete full circle, right? So many years ago, you couldn't put a game out unless you had a publisher. You didn't stand a chance, right? You didn't stand a chance unless you had a publisher. And then that sort of slowly filtered out to where we are maybe last year, where you didn't need a publisher. You didn't need anything. You could just make a game and release it onto the biggest platforms on earth, right?
Yeah.
And that's so all these barriers were gone. Right? But slowly, it looks to me like it's going full circle into the fact that you can still release your game, but you might as well not bother. And then, unless you've got a publisher or an exclusivity deal, you know what I mean? You know, if you're getting money directly from Epic or from Microsoft, or you know what I mean, then you can exist. So, because you won't need the sales, because the 8 cents an hour you're getting from Google for someone to play your game, or the 0.2 cents you're earning because someone watched an advert before your game, you won't need that because you're being paid directly by the platform for having your game on theirs exclusively. So you're going to have this weird system of, I don't even know how it works. So like Netflix, for example, everything's a Netflix original because they're essentially paying people to make shows, you know, because people can't make shows and put them out. You know, they can on YouTube, but even that's starting to go full circle there, isn't it?
Yeah, the concept of a television show is so different now than it used to be.
Yeah. It's just...
But I don't think that that's necessarily different to how it used to work. Again, like I think you're just sort of moving the problem around.
Okay.
Like, if we talk about use TV as an example again, it's like, okay, a show was made for a network, you know, like Roseanne or something, and it only aired on. I mean, I don't know exactly. I can't remember. Or let's take Simpsons for example. It was like Fox. You could only watch Simpsons on Fox. Not much has changed when you bring up the Netflix.
That's a very good point.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like kind of the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's just now the way that you get at it is different. You go on the internet now instead of adjusting the rabbit ears on your TV or whatever to pick up the signal.
That's a good point. It's a good point. Well made.
I do think somebody else.
Yeah, I do think that's going to be survival for a lot of people. Anyway, will be through that money. You know?
Yeah, and there are always exceptions. You know, like bring up our Lord and Savior Jeff Vogel again.
Oh yes,
with his, you know, and I played a bunch of those games as a kid.
Yeah.
I remember Ambrosia. There was a company called Ambrosia that made a game called Escape Velocity, and I found that as a kid, and they were like some rinky-dink little. It was like a little space, top-down space sim kind of game, and that was amazing. But it didn't look anything like Quake 2 or like these other games that were out at the time. It was this, you know, derpy little. So that stuff has kind of always existed, I think, and
I think there's still going to be a business there. There's definitely a business there.
Yeah.
I just think it's quite a nerve-wracking time.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Like I'm loath to predict anything because I'm like this could completely collapse in on itself. They could devalue games as a whole. You know, like
I don't think I have a positive feeling about it. Let's if you can just say positive or negative. I have a negative feeling about the future of this industry.
Well, personally. I do think. Well, that's if you play their game by their rules. You know, I do think that there are openings. Always, it's like, okay, people are getting this game this way. They're probably sick of it. They probably don't like it. So you can provide some other service to it. The trick is to just let them know you exist. I think that's always been the problem, no matter what period of time.
And interestingly, I don't know who I can't remember who covered this or who said it, but I thought, oh, there we go. It's already started. That this Google's new system, you're going to have to get. So you got to give a subscription for Stadia or Stadia, whatever you call it. And then you can get subscriptions within that subscription. So technically, this is like subscriptions within subscriptions. So you can have subscriptions for Stadia, and then a subscription inside that for publishers. So like
for EA.
So like it's going to go deeper and deeper until literally you're going to subscribe to one company for the games they make. That's how ridiculous this is going to go if it keeps going.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
I miss buying. I bring this up all the time. I'm starting to sound like a broken record at this point, but I think it bears repeating. I miss being able to buy a thing, and play it and be left the hell alone. And you know that game is complete and whatever. Maybe it's buggy or whatever, and I got to go download a patch or something. But it's instead of this whatever.
I'm 100% happy with digital downloads. Right, I've never had a problem with it. The only reason I still buy a physical copy of a game if it's a decent price. If it's around the same price as the digital, the only reason I'll buy it is because it has value. That's it. That's the only reason. I don't care that I don't own the disc. Really, I don't really care.
Yeah.
That's the only reason, so that if I wanted to sell it in 10 years, I can actually make money back. That's the only reason. So I'm all for digital downloads. But again, you own the game at least. You've downloaded the game and you can play the game or whatever. You know?
Yeah, provided that service still hosts it.
Well, that's it, yeah.
You know?
So DRM-free stuff's always good, you know?
Or provided that you don't say something that pisses them off and then they ban you from your library of games or whatever.
Well, that's another thing that's going to happen with these streaming services. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean about control. Like, there are things that... There's too much on one side.
Yeah.
That's... that I don't like.
Imagine that. That's going to be, this person on Facebook called me a nasty name. I'm going to tell Microsoft and they're going to ban your Xbox account. Yeah. And Xbox go, that's an unfair opinion that doesn't fit in with our narrative. You're now banned from the console you own.
And it could be anything. Let's say that I'm outspoken about, my breakfasts. And my breakfasts include meat or something. And then, the CEO of Steam or whatever, or the head marketing person on Steam or the whatever you want to call him.
Gabe likes his meat.
Maybe that person is a vegan now, and then they're like, "Hey, let's find a way to get rid of this guy." Or out of spite, I don't know. It could be anything. It could, and I just don't like the balance of power there. I guess where it's just like, can we just have an exchange of like money and a good? Instead of having all this weird. Crap, especially with
just sell me something and shut up, salesman. That's it. That's it. Just give me your wares.
Yeah.
Leave me be. No. The future is a concoction of control and submission. That's it. You're gonna work your entire life, right, and get to the ripe old age of 80. And you're going to be lying there in your digital bed and you're going to say, goodbye, cruel world. And then everything will just disappear into pixels and you'll just be in a hollow room with nothing because everything you have is not owned by you. That's it.
Yeah, emptying your bowels into some suction tube.
Yeah. That's it. Everything you've ever done will be erased the moment you expire.
Yeah.
Good God, Tobor. Good God. Well, I hope that's cheered you all up out there in the world.
Yeah, welcome to FlameCast. T-shirts on sale now.
You don't own them though; it's just a license to wear it. Yeah, you have to return it.
We'll send somebody after you if you.
Oh dear! Talking about shitty business practices, Tobor.
Yeah.
If we EA's everyone's probably already heard this one. EA's ridiculous attempt at rebranding loot boxes as surprise mechanics. What do you think of this?
I think that was a beautiful segue.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah. I've been working on that all week.
Getting ready. You need a montage of
segue practice. I call it. Yeah.
Wonder what that would look like. But for the EA stuff. So what exactly? So some EA representative went before a panel to be questioned about
something that I think they've been called up. It was them and Epic, wasn't it? So for the Fortnite.
Oh, it was Epic too.
Epic and EA both called in, right? Before some panel of someone, some inquest or whatever it is, to explain their mechanics, right? Because they're on the spot at the moment, aren't they? Politically for gambling, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically what it was. And this lady from EA. I don't know her position actually. I'll take it she's quite high up. She's basically said we don't consider them loot boxes. They're surprise mechanics. Everyone likes surprises, which is what they were trying to. They're essentially trying to rebrand this bullshit, like they did with what's it called, live services, and all these other things. They try and change the terminology.
Yeah, the language always changes and shifts around
to erase the history. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what they try and do. So, but yeah, that's what she came out and said.
See, that is stupid. That is very dumb. I think you can argue that loot boxes themselves are not gambling. Like, you could argue it pretty effectively.
I err on that side. I don't think it is gambling. I don't think they're good.
So do I. And I do think that there are elements of it that are predatory. I don't think any of it should be illegal, though.
No,
personally. And I think that any time that you give the government power, it smells all this stuff like the gaming is a disorder stuff and the trying to come up with new laws surrounding loot boxes and all this shit. To me, it just reeks of like, the mob wanting to take a cut.
Yeah,
they want to put a sin tax on it or something, or
the problem is a lot of very vocal people in this industry are the ones handing it to them, and they're going to be the very same people who are going to wish they hadn't done it.
Yeah, what's next? What is going to get banned next after loot boxes?
Will essentially be we walking headlong into some sort of control and censorship of video games. That's essentially what people are trying to hand over, is the free range business and creativity of the industry.
Yeah,
they're trying to hand over to the government to tick off, to say, yep, this is fine for consumption.
Yeah, it's always a slow boil with this stuff.
Yeah,
so you got to be careful, I think, and I think ceding that to the state is a mistake.
Yeah, it is. Like, I think everyone on Earth agrees that loot boxes are a shitty business practice, right?
This is the thing.
They're a nasty business practice.
Yeah, I don't like the philosophy behind games that have things like them in them, where you actually pay real money. Here's the thing about and this is coming from somebody like me who, grew up playing Magic the Gathering, and that was I kind of liked that aspect to it, where I'd buy a booster pack of cards and I didn't know what was in there. And you'd open it up, and it'd be interesting to me. Like, and I do think that loot boxes could kind of could and do fall under the same sort of experience that you're having.
Oh, I 100% agree. Yeah, I 100% agree.
But it's just in video games, for whatever reason, I just don't like it very much. Like, that doesn't appeal to me. But it appeals to some people, obviously, because they're making money.
A lot of money, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, well, then it's like the argument comes up. Well, think of the children. A lot of those people that are doing it, they can't help it, and then you get fucking pounded from the other direction with this gaming is a disorder thing. And it's like, that's why they're making all this money out of it, because it's a disorder, and we got to protect these people. We got to.
This is part of the problem, right? I was listening to the radio yesterday, right? I was driving.
I was listening to the radio.
You saw on Twitter, right? Yeah. I don't usually tweet that much, and I thought I've got to tweet this one out, right? And I heard some guy, they were talking about gambling and stuff, and this guy phoned up, he was going, and he said, my son, all he does is come home from school, right, and play Fortnite. He's addicted to gambling, right? And this is, but the two ridiculous parts of this statement, right? And the guy on the radio was like, oh, yeah, it's terrible, yeah. I don't even know what Fortnite is. And this is the problem.
Sounds evil to me.
Yeah, exactly. So the guy thinks playing Fortnite is gambling, for one, because the internet told him so, right?
The equivalent in some people's minds because of the shit of being addicted to heroin or something.
It's just mental. And a kid coming home from school and then playing Fortnite with his mates online. Like, what's wrong with that?
I used to do the same thing with Warcraft 2.
I did it with every game on the N64.
Were we addicted to gambling?
No, I used to literally. I think when I specifically remember this, when Perfect Dark come out on the N64.
Oh, that's a good one.
The N64 never left my backpack. Right, it was always in there wherever I was going, and it would come out, and it would be a 4-player Perfect Dark session for probably 6 hours all the time.
Young, brave,
thousands of hours
in
in like a month. It was ridiculous. It was like 12 hours a day, every day, loads of people all playing. And then we got bored and turned it off and played something else, or just did something else after a while.
The problem is you were sick. You may still be.
I was ill. I just couldn't stop gambling. I could not stop gambling, TOBOR.
I bet the problem.
And this is the issue, right? Because you got like this guy, right? He probably means the best, and he doesn't, he doesn't mean anything bad, and he cares about his kid, but he doesn't know anything about Fortnite, really. He has no idea why it's gambling or what mechanics of it are gambling.
He's just been told gambling and that gaming is an illness.
and this is what the games industry itself is pushing into the hands of people. You're telling people games are great, games are fun, games are good, right? For the vast majority, right? You don't want to buy a little egg that contains a dance for your character, don't buy it, It's crazy, TOBOR. I despair. I really do.
It's well, this stuff comes under attack all the time. This is nothing new. No. It might just be more. I like to think that it's scary to me now because I'm an adult.
Yeah, possibly. I think that sometimes.
You know, but I remember growing up and things like Night Trap were.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat and all that.
Yeah, that was the big panic, and that was the music too, like rap music with all its filthy, horrible language. So they had to have the parental advisory stickers put on albums and stuff.
Yeah. But back then, it didn't change things. It didn't change the games. You know, games weren't being modified and designers completely changing the way they make games to pander to this new rubbish.
Yeah, as far as we know.
And that's the issue. Games got more violent after all that outrage about violence, right? Because it was an interesting area to explore with video games, right? And it's creative and it's not real, right? But now it's like, oh, this game isn't fair. You know, this isn't representing this. This isn't doing that. Everything's getting confusing and watered down, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I think the big thing that's being attacked in games right now, apart from the loot boxes and gambling thing, excuse me, talking about all this garbage is giving me gas. Is sex? Sex is the big thing that's they're coming after. Is and Sony's behind this a whole bunch, and it's like, good fucking Christ. The last person that I need to instruct me on morality is fucking Sony. Yeah. Or whoever. Insert, megacorp here.
Yeah.
To teach me what I should and shouldn't be looking at or viewing or whatever. And they're coming down pretty hard on this stuff. And
in what regard?
Packaging is being sort of so if you've got like an anime babe on the box art, right? And she's got maybe her navel exposed or something, or thigh highs or something. They move the character kind of like down a little bit, or like Devil May Cry was a big one. Devil May Cry 5, where there was a scene with one of the female characters was naked in a scene, but it wasn't like.
All right.
You didn't see everything. Like, it was like you saw her butt or something because like a character was carrying her. So what they did on the PlayStation version was they put like a lens flare over her butt crack. And all the other versions, I guess, were untouched. And there's more stuff like that. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but I know Square Enix now a lot of these companies now have an arm or a wing to their company that handles this stuff.
Yeah, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, I know.
Like a decency panel or a.
Oh yeah.
And they did that with Tifa from Final Fantasy VII, I guess.
Oh, I heard about this. Yeah. She's just got a more sensible bra now. But I think, see, I personally, right, I'm not one for. I don't particularly want my games to have unnecessary sexual content. Right, it doesn't interest me in video games. Right, I don't really care. And I don't really like the tacky anime stuff. I really don't like it. But just because I don't like it, it shouldn't be removed, right? I think this is the biggest argument across all cultures, right? Mm-hmm. Is there's one side that thinks I don't like it for should be removed
for everybody.
And you've got the other, and then you've got the other side saying I don't like it, or I do like it, and it shouldn't be removed. And I don't think it should be removed just because. A fucking arse crack. What's the problem, pal? Every single person on this planet, bar a couple of really unfortunate people, has an arse crack, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just get over it. What's the matter with you?
It's the spirit of the censorship that bothers me.
Yeah.
Not that they're removing big old bouncy titties from a video game or whatever, or covering them up. Yeah. It's the spirit of it that's like, it's just like a trust and safety board or whatever, like, is a part of this company now, and it's like, and it's being talked to as if you're a fucking zombie that that has no moral compass or something. That's the part that
this
really
game with an arse crack in it. What game was it? You said
Devil May Cry 5.
Oh, Devil May Cry 5 had an arse crack in it, right?
Yeah.
What's the age restriction on Devil May Cry 5?
Mature.
We've got adult fucking infants.
I'm pretty sure
adult infants.
But yeah, the point is that they are rated. Like this should already be taken care of, which drives me nuts.
That's crazy.
It's why we have like a kid to adult rating. It's why we have a mature rating, which is either 17 or 18 and over. Like it's
Do you know what it feels like, right? It feels like the world does this now, right? Well, not the world. I think it's a small vocal minority, right? They go up to a product, they look at it, they've got 100,000 products they could pick. They find the one that will offend them the most, right? They actively seek it out, play it, get upset. They're not really upset, but they've got
always
nothing
the one
else
that
in their
is
life.
the most popular,
It's just and then just outrage about something that is irrelevant to you.
Yeah.
You know? Like it's got a mature rating. It's probably got some sort of thing on it that says sexualized content or whatever on
Yeah,
on the
not
back
only
or
do they
whatever.
have like Devil May Cry 5 is rated M for mature.
Okay, yeah.
Or Peggy 18 or whatever it is for
Peggy 18.
Peggy. Yeah, I always hear that. But not only do they have the sticker, they also have like a content thing on the back where it's like gore, violence, partial nudity, whatever. So it's like all you got to do is look at that and be like, okay, maybe this isn't for me, or maybe I shouldn't let my kid play this.
And I don't want that to go. I don't want that to go away. I don't want this industry to be watered down to some ridiculous, weird, almost religion level of control. You know what I mean? Like everything is sin. You know what I mean? Like, nah, bollocks to you. I don't want that, and I don't want that anywhere near me. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't care if people get upset and stuff. I just don't care at this point. Like that is a really dangerous road to start walking. It really is. And I'm just going to enjoy myself some Lidl 3-way extreme cola. There it is, ladies.
Hold on. Do you have a license for that soda?
I'm going to give it back. Next time I go. All over the fresh fruit and vegetables.
Oh, God.
You can have it back.
Energy is never destroyed, only...
That's my point on it. I just think it's a shame. And I think even the people who are calling for all this shit to be removed, they're doing it in good faith, right? I don't think they're doing it... I can't figure out some weird like reason to do it other than they actually think they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, some of this I can't quite figure out because I think this is a human problem, right? It's always like we always want to move in a direction. Like we can never just sort of stay put. We always have to find a better way to do things.
There's always got to be a cause. Yeah.
Which can be good and it can be like it depends on what dragon you're trying to slay. Like and if you can't find one, it's like, well, let's make one up. Oh, anime titties. There's, let's get mad about that.
And I've been quite vocal about that. Not only on here, on my stream and on my Discord. I don't like the anime titties shit. I don't like it, right? I don't like it. I think it's tacky and it's garbage, right? It's not for me.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I want to take it away from the people who do like it, right?
Yeah.
They might be perverts, granted, right? But I don't want to take it away from them.
Well, I mean, like by definition, like, it's like
just
some
enjoy
of that,
your shit, innit?
Like if I, it's gone are the days where you saw like, a Red Sonja looking, female warrior on a box art or something where it's, like the take the cover to Swords and Serpents on the Nintendo Entertainment System. You've got like a buff dude with an axe, and then you've got like a bikini babe with a sword or whatever, and it's like you don't see that shit anymore ever again. And it's like it's not that it's like I get an immediate reaction or erection when I look at that shit. It's just like, oh, that's like I get it. It's fun. Like like even the like it's a kind of an idealized person that's like that person looks like they could kick ass, and they also look good naked too. That's fine. It's totally it's whatever. But it's
well, it's a hero, isn't it? You're watching a hero. You don't want to see just a dude in tracksuits and a hat and a t-shirt just looking at the camera.
Who might be kind of dumpy looking or
yeah. Just eating a chicken, all covered in grease like that. Yeah, and I want to add to that actually for anyone who is watching. If I don't want people to start thinking, it's two white blokes. It's easy for you to say, right? I think it's great. Do you know what I mean? Like it's easy to make that comment, right? And I think it's a great thing that there has been a big push for a lot more representation in video games. I think is a good thing, right? I've got no issues with that.
All right, that's been FlameCast number 8. We'll see you guys. No, go ahead.
But I don't think everything that has been is wrong. I don't think these things were wrong. Like you said, the muscly barbarian dude with a babe on his arm.
I will say too, there was certainly a glut of that stuff. Like if there was too much at one point.
Yeah, but I think the confusion is like you don't have to destroy one thing, or one thing doesn't have to be bad for another thing to be good.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't think that logic is ever applied. You know, there's like an immediate emotional response that this is not fair. Let's fix that. That's not fair because this is unfair. Remove that. And I don't think that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's if you see a lack of something, it's like go do that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously easier said than done, but it's like I have no qualms or anything with somebody making a game about, you know, a quadriplegic brown person in a fox meadow. I don't care.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's you pick and choose. Like what do you want to play? Like I don't like first person shooters or at least modern military first person shooters that much.
Yeah.
Like so I don't play them. Like I just.
And I think there's some interesting points, right? Especially going back in the industry, not so much now, but going back, talking about representation. Especially with earlier games, like it costs a lot of money to make a game, right?
Yeah,
it costs a lot of money to make a video. So say you're making a video game and you look at your audience, right? And your audience is out there and it is 85% male, right? 85% of your audience is male, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to pick a character to design. You've got to pick a character to design. You're either going to pick a male or female.
Well, and maybe you are too, the one who's making it, you know, like.
Yeah.
That's maybe why you got to where you were, because you went after a certain audience. And
when there's this argument about, I think there should be more representation, it's great, right? Okay, it's all good. I'm not saying it's not good, right? I want to make that clear. But if I was making a video game, right, and I had a £2 million budget and a team of people making it, and you have to design character models and all this, I would design one character that you play as, right? If you design two characters, that means you need two characters completely modelled and animated, right? Even if you've got skeletal rigging, but all this stuff is newish.
And depending on how complicated the game is, like you could be looking at a ton of work.
A ton of work. You're doubling your workload. Plus, if they can change armors or clothes, which is quite a common thing, then all of those need to be done.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. It had a complicated paper doll system in there. Like you're gonna.
And all these things take time and money. And I don't think it was a case of games aren't for girls. You know what I mean? I don't think that was ever really the thought process. That was never it. That was never it. And now that there are more women playing video games, then there's more stuff that they have asked for, which makes sense. You know, the market is there. It just, if you're not asking for stuff, if people aren't asking for a product or there's no requirement for it, it doesn't exist, you know? And I think, but then I suppose there's the counter argument that, if they were there, then the market would be there. But I don't think that's the case. You know, I remember growing up and I didn't know a single girl who played video games. I still don't really. I know a few because I'm online, but I still know far less. And that's not because I don't talk to women because they're women. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just something I've seen, and it might be just the coincidence of my surroundings, but I don't think.
Well, and then the other argument is like, well, they just weren't made for them. They didn't, you know, nothing was made that they could relate to, and it's like,
what, Mario Kart?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like we've already Pac-Man was the big that was the big thing that drew women into the gaming space. Was because it was
Miss Pac-Man.
Well, not even Miss Pac-Man, just Pac-Man, because it had a character, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know, women being more social could get more interested into it, I guess. But according to gaming historians, Pac-Man was the huge breakout game because it brought everybody in, and everybody was like, it's a cute character and it's, you know, fun and bright and you know, look at the fun ghosts and like all that, you know. It was a very appealing across, you know, sexes and everybody and age groups and stuff. So it's like I don't know.
It's a twisted one, and it's complicated.
It is, but I do think you're right about you can't just go in and destroy something to make room for, you know, the other a small
doing both.
Do it all.
Like no one's. I don't think anyone's upset. To be perfectly honest, I think it's good. If I turn on a new game, right, it doesn't. It's never bothered me. Even if I bought a new Mario game, for example, and it said choose male or female Mario, right? I wouldn't give a shit. I'd be like, this is interesting. Look at this, right? Wouldn't bother me. Wouldn't bother me at all. But it doesn't mean that everything before it.
Peach was one of my favorite characters in Mario 2.
Yeah,
because she could
float. She was awesome. Yeah, exactly.
I loved Tomb Raider. I love Metroid.
Yeah. And I think the sad thing is I think there's a select few who put the industry under an obscure lens and try and make it look worse than it is for their own personal gain.
Of course,
you know what I mean?
It's a laziness thing. I think there's a lot of people that don't want to produce anything and they'd rather go after something that's target rich and big,
Vampires,
already. Yeah. And if you could just get in there and get at the top, like then you have it. Then it's yours now instead of building your own thing. And it's not. This isn't like this isn't like I'm not saying like this is a thing women do. This is something everybody does. You know, everybody that's not really interested in making their own thing. Like with if they like if I just complain loudly enough, somebody will give me stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I think is what a lot of it is.
And it's a shame because it's gonna have repercussions down the line. You know? It is straight up for the games industry. It's going to make things. If we keep going down this route of everything is offensive and everything needs to be controlled by the government because everyone's a child, do you know what I mean? It is going to have awful ramifications. It really is. It really is.
No, it's going to come back to bite you. It's it's a Brave New World 1984 scenario. It's let them tell you what's right and what's good and what's whatever they can do to keep themselves certain people on top and keep you under their boot heel are going to do. This got weird.
This did get weird, but I like that. It's free range. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Free range, TOBOR, and that's what we're all about.
Yeah. What do you mean by free range?
Just free range conversation.
Oh, sure. Yeah. We're grass fed, free range.
We're not hemmed in.
Yeah.
We're not. No one can put me in a box.
No
one. Not even the box man or woman.
Or
not even them.
Let's not. The box
right.
person.
What's next? That's. I don't even know what that was. But what's next?
I'm not sure what that. Yeah, that was kind of everything. I think.
Yeah, that was just all and sundry. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we got another thing here of social media, right? I think this.
This ties into a little bit of that. I think probably.
It does because it goes into that. I think social media has made everything worse in this regard. Like, I think for the vast 99% of not just this industry, but every industry, everyone's pretty much the same in the centrist sort of, you know what I mean? They agree with this, they agree with that, oh yeah, this probably should be controlled a little bit, but at the same time, no, But social media makes it look black and white. Boom. You're either extreme hate for everything creative, or you want, or you're arguing for, I don't like it, but you should be able to do these awful things to anyone on earth because it's freedom. So I think you've got these two, and this is amplified by social media entirely.
Yeah, the most extreme stuff gets pushed to the top through the algorithms. Well, and maybe it's the most sensational. It makes sense. It's action packed.
Yeah, I guess. It's the most interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. And I think we touched on this before because negative engagement is the same as positive engagement. It's just engagement. There's no differential between the two.
It's eyeballs.
If you like something or hate something, however you express it is irrelevant. It just means that whatever it is, that topic that's being discussed is important. And I don't think anyone, especially with the whole, lust for likes and follows and all this other bollocks that comes along with all this social media rubbish, is if your review is not extreme on either side, then no one really gives a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're just that person on the fence. Pick a side, loser. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's
they got you.
That's part of the issue.
If anything should be an illness or whatever, it should be Twitteritis or something.
Yeah.
People spend their whole damn day on that thing, sort of cultivating the monument to the self,
Yeah,
the shrine to the self.
Narcissism is through the roof,
and that's how they get you. They want you to be on that stuff all the time. But to bring it around to a more sort of practical thing, you've kind of, myself included, me probably more so than you anyway. Like as far as like things like Twitch and trying to stream all the time and and be engaging or whatever. We've definitely taken our foot off the pedal on that stuff a little bit.
Yeah, I've got out of the car and I'm walking away.
So how's how has that felt as far as your productivity and all that stuff?
Oh, it's through the roof.
Yeah,
through the roof.
Isn't it amazing? It's like pulling a giant sliver out of your side or something.
It is. Time will tell whether what comes of that.
Yeah.
So I used to stream a lot, and I used to be on Twitter and posting this, and and on Facebook and trying to, and all this stuff, right? And on Discord and all this stuff. I'm still a bit on Discord because I've got mates and stuff on there. But I think it's so much extra noise, so much extra noise when you're trying to create a game or product, right? Which is essentially what it is. Like the amount of focus you can achieve when you just cut that shit out. Because for the most part, it's negative in every single regard, right? There's a few nice bits. And if anyone is watching this from my stream, I'm not talking about those people, right?
Right.
I'm talking about just the general attitude of all these places.
Well, neither am I, too. Like it's... But
like I met you through Twitch. I met you through Twitch.
Yeah, precisely. And there's something to be said for free advertising. If you're creative and you're making a product and you're trying to sell something, like this is like having a free spot in a shopping mall without having to pay rent. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it takes focus to keep up with it. Whether or not it's negative or positive, like it's you spend mental currency on this stuff.
A lot.
Yeah. And then when it comes time to draw a fish man, like you don't want to do it because you're already tired, you're already exhausted, you already have all these things flying around in your head. And that might just be a me problem where I need to approach this stuff a little differently and not stress over it so much.
Well, and I look at it this way as well, right? I'm on Twitter. Well, I used to be, not so much anymore, on Facebook and Twitch and YouTube. I used to like to spend a lot more time keeping up to date with what's going on, finger on the pulse sort of thing, right?
I deleted my Facebook account the other day.
You what, sorry?
I deleted my Facebook account the other day.
Really?
Wiped it from the internet, yep.
Wow, that's a move and a half, that.
Well, I don't like them, so that's a separate issue, but...
Yeah, I think there's merit in that. I think everyone could do with stepping away from this shit.
Yeah.
And I think this was the point I was making actually, is there's a lot of games and stuff and a lot of people in this business who just come out of nowhere like that, right? They've made games in the past and stuff, but I see a game come out and it explodes and I think I've never seen this person before in my life, and I'm all over Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, and because they're busy working, and I think I fell into that trap when I went full time as a game developer. Before I went full time, I didn't give a fuck what anyone thought.
Same.
I just made my games. I didn't give a damn, But as I went full time, I thought, all right, okay, well, we got to start engaging and community building and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Which is good. I've met some really really nice people and some important people to me.
I can see why you would have somebody that you partner with that would handle this stuff.
Yeah, I can 100% agree.
Yeah.
I think as the creator, you need that barrier between you.
Yeah. I think this might just be a bandwidth issue, some of it, where it's like you just don't have enough energy or time or, mental power.
But I think when it comes to game development, I think I would say 80% of it comes down to the game itself. So if you've got, I know there's this, the good book says, you start screenshotting to Screenshot Saturday, don't waste your time with all this stuff. If your game's going to do well, it's going to do well. If it's not going to do well, it's not going to do well. You know what I mean? Mm. Tweeting about it every single day might increase it by 5%.
Well, and then at a certain point, people get sick of hearing from you.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it.
I think for me, it's you. I could probably get a lot more mileage out of doing stuff like this. Where I take days or weeks off from being out in the open about what I'm doing, and then just drop a load on. It's like, here's all the new stuff. This is what I've been working on. Like, here's the engagement, and then disappear again for a week or whatever. And I think too that's just a more like a personal, like what I can handle. I think I'm just weak.
Well, and it's also, I suppose, you need to identify what it is you want out of it all.
Yeah.
Like
yes.
And I suppose, adversely to what it may seem right now, with us doing this podcast, I have no interest in being a personality in the industry. That doesn't interest me at all. Mm. I'm only doing this now because I enjoy it and I'm having a rant and I'm a miserable fuck, right? Yeah. That's why I'm doing it. It's fun, right? But I have no interest in that stuff whatsoever. I just want to make games. You know, if I could make my games in complete isolation, release them and survive, I'd be happy as Larry, right? I would be. And it's just hard to know whether that's possible anymore. I don't know. And I think when it comes to the amount of content you put out, meaningful content is probably far more valuable than regular content. Like, to me anyway. I don't know what the good book says.
It's like, I remember a quote from the Penny Arcade guys.
Yeah.
Where, so they do a comic, right? They do a web comic. And they were talking to a friend of theirs who did a daily comic. And the Penny Arcade guys did, a comic 3 times a week or something.
Yeah.
And which is just to set up the analogy here. So what they represented it as was, do you want steak for dinner a couple times a week, or do you want, McDonald's or something?
Yeah.
And
every
I
day.
think there's that always pops into my head where it's like, I could live stream every day, but they're going to be trash.
Oh, it's like an old saying I enjoy is if there's always biscuits in the tin, where's the fun in biscuits?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
if everybody has superpowers, then nobody has superpowers.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't know. I think I'm mentally exhausted from this industry as well. So I think some time away while I work on my game to sort of remember what it is I enjoy about it.
Don't think about the industry. Think about the thing you're making.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And but it's hard, isn't it? It's hard because you can't really run a business without thinking about it.
Right.
Whilst at the same time, it's so it's such a mess to figure out.
So much of this stuff for me, like coming from me, is a lot of armchair generaling. Where I'm not in the thick of it really. Like I don't have games out that people are buying. I'm not.
You are in the thick of it.
I'm not. I'm not looking at analytics. I'm not worried about like a steady income stream or anything. Like I'm. Don't get me wrong. Like money is like an issue. Like I want to get paid for this thing.
Yeah.
And the things are getting thin around here, but I'm not like participating at the level that you are. Let's say.
Okay.
So much of this is just I feel like I'm talking out of my ass most of the time.
Well, you're not. You're not. You've not said anything where I thought this guy's an idiot. Yeah. You know what I mean? Well, no, you haven't. No, but it's not even about that. 1 game, 10 games.
Yeah.
Everyone's got an opinion, even if you've got no games.
Well, I guess it's a mechanical like self-criticism where it's like I don't have the mechanical experience in a lot of ways just yet with.
But it's not the case. I think I've said this. I think you're not just someone with an interest in it. You know what I mean? It's you're in the business. Where just because your game's been 6 years in the making. So you're in there.
70 years.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, but it's just hard, isn't it? Like some days I'll get through. Last week, what day are we? Yeah, it was last week. I was on it. I was on fire, and nothing was in my head apart from my work. And then this week, it's sort of like, But the problem is, the reason this stuff's creeping into my head is because I popped on Twitter and I've been on YouTube seeing what's going on. I mean, this is what it does. It doesn't do any good. It doesn't do any good. So even if being on all these platforms is good for your business,
it's not good for your brain.
in comparison to not being there, getting your game done 6 months earlier, 10 times better.
Yeah.
Is it, just because you haven't been screenshot Saturday and you know what I mean, and all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I wonder too if it's just like maybe a habit can be developed for me, like speaking for like a strategy about like, okay, maybe Monday, don't even worry about working on your video game. And just do the social media thing or the whatever thing, like the advertising. Just do the marketing and the advertising, whatever that means. Yeah. And don't worry about getting any work done because you're going to hate yourself because you can't focus on drawing the fish man or whatever.
Yeah.
And just don't worry about it. Like just worry about the one thing and focus on that. And then on Tuesday you're back to, just put on some music and just go. Like don't watch anything. Don't read any weird posts from weird people telling you how everybody's a game developer or whatever. Just
exactly.
make your thing.
If you've got a dream in your heart, anything is possible. You know what I mean? All this endless bollocks. You know?
You definitely don't even have to do any hard work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Christ. Been easy 6 years for you, I guess, TOBOR, right? Yeah.
Oh, it's breeze.
Barely done anything at all,
Easy
right?
breezy.
Just passion.
Yeah. I don't even know how all this stuff gets done. It's like magic.
Just passion.
It's just passion. It's just social awareness. It's
Yeah. I think what I like to do, I wake up in the morning and just realise that I'm part of a community.
Yeah.
You know? I'm part of a community.
That's the secret.
And that's all that matters.
That's the secret. That's the golden ticket.
Yeah, the golden ticket indeed, TOBOR. Let's.
Yeah.
I think are we gonna wind it up then? Are we gonna tie this one up?
I think so. Yeah, everybody, don't forget to pick up TurboGrafx 16 Mini. Okay.
Yeah.
Coming at you on Stadia.
Beautiful.
Before you know it. Go play some fucking Daggerfall.
Inside Stadia. You what? Sorry.
Go play some Daggerfall, people. Go play some fucking Daggerfall. That game's awesome.
Or some Disgaea. Disgaea's good as well.
Yeah.
Always good. All right. Okay. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. This has been FlameCast episode 8. Wow. We made it this far. Let's see if we can get to 9.
Yeah.
Check out all the links for mine and TOBOR's shit in the description, our games and Twitch and all that other stuff. If you would be so kind.
Yeah, go check us
That's
out
my
on
friend
social
TOBOR.
media.
Give him a wave, TOBOR. Say goodbye, TOBOR. Give him a wave.
Adios.
Bye, TOBOR. Bye, everybody. See you next week. Much love. See you later. Right.
You want to give me a clap?
Yes?
Beautiful. Best clap.